there's all kinds of scenes that I respond to in movies. I respond to music sequences. I respond to big comedy sequences. It was like they galvanized the entire theater. Everybody woke up. Everybody got connected. And and I would go see a film that had a sequence like that. I would see it 2 or 3 times at the theaters just to see that sequence, and then just to have that experience with an audience.
Welcome to Making Tarantino, the podcast. I'm your host, Philip Duke. On this podcast, we go through a list of movies that Quentin Tarantino likes or recommends to see what they're all about and if maybe they've influenced his work. But today is a special episode. I'm joined by Sam FIrstenberg, the director of films that we all grew up with, like Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3, The Domination, Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, American Ninja 2, one that I just saw recently, Avenging Force. And of course, the main movie we are here for today is Riverbend, 1989-90.
So listen, fellas, been a long ride. How about a smoke for my friend back here?
There's a fine here. Stop the car! Stop the car!
Riverbend, Georgia, 1966. A timeless community where nothing changes.
There'll be some trouble if you come to town this morning. Buggers, I'm warning you!
You can't just go on killing Negroes. Times are changing.
3 Vietnam combat heroes falsely accused of war crimes are hiding out in Riverbend.
It's just a place to stay for a few days, that's all.
But you can't stay here. We're only a mile from town.
Listen here, I don't have time to play. Where's the gun?
Now, we all know what happened to Marcus. Now, there's the example of a man going to the law. And God damn it, look what happened to him.
Now, come on out here, boy. I want to talk to you.
I'm doing the talking. I'm gonna take care of this now.
There's only one way to solve this problem, and that's to put a bullet in his head.
All right, goddamn it, get back. All of you, I swear I'll kill you.
I don't ever want to hear the words boy, nigger, or colored used again. Understood?
I'm talking about our way of life.
You sound like we're about to have a revolution.
Only one man can teach them to fight.
Next time we meet, the town will be ours. You people are now our hostages.
We really don't know what the situation in the town is. We can't get close enough to find out.
We get word from you that you have located the hostages. We're going to roll over that front line.
Get to the church, quick! Get to the church!
I've located and freed the hostages. They're in the big church. They're all safe. You can move in now.
Margaret Avery,
You gonna get out of here?
Kill him!
Steve James, Tony Franks.
Kill me, goddammit!
2 men locked in combat.
You think you bad? This has been a long time coming. Come on!
Riverbend, the battle for freedom, has just begun.
Hey, boy, I want to talk to you. Answer me!
This is my answer.
Hello, Sam FIrstenberg.
Hello, I'm happy to be. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be in your show, and I hope that all the listeners and viewers will enjoy it.
Yes, it's like I said, like I was just telling you, like if 54-year-old me went and, was like, hey, kid, you're watching this Breakin' 2, you're going to be, when you're 54, a thing called a podcast, you're going to be talking to Sam on there and be like, yeah, right. Who are you? What's a podcast?
Absolutely.
But rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then I have a Patreon called Phil on Cinema. But hey, we're here about Sam. Who cares about my Patreon? So yeah, already I was directed by Sam FIrstenberg. So excited. Twice he said, move your camera down. And then he said, you're getting a flicker over there. I said, okay, that's awesome. I have an audio that I'm going to play here. I'll insert it later. I was going to record it early, but I was busy drinking my coffee. But it was great. Usually I call it Tarantino Talks. What was great is you put it on your YouTube channel of Tarantino giving his 3 favorite canon films and talking about his Sam FIrstenberg like fan club that him and his buddies had. Like, it was really neat.
Then they had their in-house filmmakers of Israeli filmmakers, Boaz Davidson, Sam FIrstenberg, my favorite, Gideon Amir, Dan Woolman. All right, and if you were to ask me what my 3 favorite canon movies are, well, number 1 would be Runaway Train, which we're going to see. Number 2 would be 52 Pickup. Number 3 would be Ninja 3: The Domination.
I think I had seen Revenge of the Ninja. I watched it again now, taking him into account, and I really liked it. Then I running out to see American Ninja like the day it opened because I was a Sam FIrstenberg fan. I was just all this one-man audience, one-man fan club of Sam FIrstenberg. And but I made a bunch of friends. We had a small little group, all right, but I was the leader of the group for sure when it comes to the Sam FIrstenberg club. But then they came out with the next Michael Dudikoff movie, which was Avenging Force.
And that he likes Ninja 3: The Domination, which is awesome.
That's what we know. We know it from Eli.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That everybody knows that Tarantino has a collection of 35mm prints of movies, and to the best of our knowledge, within the collection there is also Ninja 3: The Domination. It's part of the collection.
It's such a fun movie, and the thing about that, I'm going to jump all over everybody, but it was filmed here in Phoenix. Like, you guys did that whole graveyard scene is where my family's buried. And I remember hearing, like, oh, they made this movie, and I'm like, oh, and then when it came out, I'm like, hey, there's where grandma's buried. Hey, there's where aunt and uncle are buried. It's like really neat for me to, so that movie has a special place in my heart where I'm like, oh, that whole fight in the graveyard is right there. Yeah, really.
It's an antique. It was an antique graveyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was.
I wasn't sure that it was still active, but some graves going back to the 1800s.
Well,
70s.
There's a real old one across the street, but yeah, it's still. They even made it bigger, and they got more stuff on the other side. But
the new section, I remember.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really a lot of fun. But I have listener opinions here. I asked people what you think. I had one guy wrote, Kurt Marcucci on the Making Tarantino, the podcast Facebook page, wrote, quote, I love the American Ninja films. What this director was able to do, make some very entertaining films on far less of a budget than the average Hollywood budgets of this era. As for Steve James, I love him as an action actor. He always gave it his all and was a complete badass. His chemistry with Michael Dudikoff ranks, in my opinion, as the top of the era. I would have loved to have seen him in a big budget film like Lethal Weapon. Rest in peace, Steve James. You and your talent are greatly missed. End quote. So
a good quote, good statement. Very good.
Yeah. It's and somebody asked you this in an interview that I read about you, that, you can't tell what's going to make an actor, pop, like you said, like, Steve James has this charisma. I remember back in the day watching Star Wars with my dad, and I was like, I wish Mark Hamill did more. And my dad goes, you can see Harrison Ford has charisma, and Mark Hamill, like, that's why Mark Hamill's, but Harrison Ford like skyrocketed. And that's the thing with Steve James, like, and Michael Dudikoff. I was telling my cousin the other day, I would like to see Michael Dudikoff in a movie now, like either playing like a bad guy or like just really cool stuff. But Riverbend, 1989, the tagline, when you're right, you fight. The plot, a black major, Steve James, and his men are on the run from a rigged court-martial and a hideout in a small Georgia town where a cruel white sheriff is terrorizing the black population. Together with one strong-willed woman, They formulate a bold plan to fight for freedom and human rights. So it stars, this is for people who don't know, it stars Steve James as Major Samuel Quinton, Margaret Avery as Belle Coleman, Tony Frank as Sheriff Jake, Julius Tennant, he's so good. They're all good, as Sergeant Tony Marks, Alex Morris as Lieutenant Butch Turner, and Vanessa Tate as Pauline. Like in your movies, like, some actors will be better than others. This one is, and I'm just not just saying that but watching all your movies, this one is really like the acting is like Pauline is great, like Margaret's great, like, Margaret Avery and Vanessa, like everyone just brings it. Like it's not lesser than, it's not Steve James carrying everything. It's way, way cool.
Philip, there is a reason for this.
Okay.
When we go out on location, in Hollywood, there is a structure and hierarchy to actors. Good actors demand more money. They are more famous, demand more money, etc. So it's hard to get the good actors to play. When we go out on location, in this case, we were filming the whole movie in Texas, in the Dallas area. The local actors, we got the best of the best. The names you mentioned, except Margaret Avery and Steve James, are the only one that came from here. All the rest are local actors. Tony Frank was a local actor. Julian Tennant. And those guys are theater actors. They did a lot of television. So those are the best actors of the area. And they don't have any, for them to be in a movie, they're happy to be in a movie. So you're getting the best actor for the same price. It's not a battle of money and budget.
And you would think, like, in my head, when I'm thinking about something like American Ninja, this totally makes sense what you just said, because in American Ninja, you're in the Philippines filming a movie and nobody has egos. Everybody's eating the same food that you're eating. And Michael Dudikoff isn't walking around being like, hey, where's my trailer? Like everybody is just hanging out by the pool or whatever,
The bad guy in the American Ninja, Don Stewart, he was a big star in soap opera.
Oh, wow.
Guiding Light, I think it was the Guiding Light or one of those soap opera. Big star in this world, but he was there. He was fantastic. It was such a pleasure to work with him over there.
Yeah, I never thought about that until you just said it, where you're kind of, for one, you brought in the other people, but also that you're somewhere else. You're not in Hollywood. It's like, I was just hearing a story Robert Englund was telling about Nightmare on Elm Street. He said, so here he is getting all this stuff put on as Freddy Krueger. Here comes Johnny Depp and Heather Langenkamp, and they're treated like, oh, they're the main stars, and the makeup lady is giving them a little fan, and he goes, I'm caked in KY jelly, and like where's my fan? And he goes, but that worked for his acting process of, I hate these kids. This is why I hate kids,
Absolutely.
But I put here, I was going to watch your movie with Kirstie Alley. I will, but I didn't get to watch it before the show. But a regular question, what got you into directing in the first place? I know that you saw like Bridge on the River Kwai and movies like that you loved. And did you ever think like, I'm going to make a big epic, or did you just kind of doing it to do it?
Well, I'll tell you, as a kid, sorry. As a kid, I watched a lot of cinema. There was in my neighborhood, there was a theater, neighborhood theater. Didn't have to go to the city, to the center. So I watched a lot of movies. Mostly were American movies, Hollywood movies, 90%. Westerns, gangsters, crime movies, and World War II movies. This was in the 50s and in the 60s, the beginning of the 60s. So those were the diets of movies that I grew up. Some of them are huge. Bridge over River Kwai. And I probably saw some huge Westerns. I cannot remember as a kid. But of course, as a youngster, I didn't know that there is a man behind all of this that directs it and makes it. You take it for granted. Here, there is a movie, there is a story, a visual story. You don't think that there is one person behind it, two persons, somebody who wrote it and somebody who directed it. You don't think this way. Later on, when I was a teenager, even early teen, I saw the early James Bond, Dr. No. I never thought about that. There is a person behind it. Few people who are putting it together. And naturally, you think the actors, this is the natural way to think. You think
they're making it up.
the one who make the movie.
Yeah.
The stars, the actors, so you see John Wayne on the screen. That's what they. So it was pretty later when I was 17, 18, I started to understand that there is a way to tell stories in a visual way. And I kind of wanted to become part of this magic, of this business, a magic that telling stories in a visual ways, which is movies. Versus theater. I saw theater. I was never drawn into this medium. Tell a story through on a stage. Didn't work for me. Didn't but put a story on this big screen in the dark theater where people are sitting. I was very attracted to this, and so I moved to Hollywood. I was 22 years old to go to film school, and truly only in film. Today there is a lot of information available for everybody, and everybody understand how you make movies. This was 1972 when I moved here. This information was not readily available unless you were really interested in, unless you were Spielberg, young Spielberg, which I was not. So now I went to film school, and now I started to understand there is editing. Somebody is writing the music. You put it together. There is lighting. Only then I started to understand, and I worked my way in the business. Beside the assistant director, I did all kind of jobs on the set, including in the editing room, electricity, lighting, grips.
You said you were going bringing coffee and everything, but hanging out by the camera to see how everything works. Oh,
but you're right. In my mind, the way I saw, when I realized that this is where I need to be the director to tell the story. That's the position. Of course, I was thinking about Dr. Zhivago, and I was thinking about those, Lawrence of Arabia, David Lean type of movies. Later on, I started to see Akira Kurosawa movies, The Seven Samurais, huge Japanese movies. And the big westerns, I started to understand that some westerns are low budget, small ones. Some westerns are huge, epic westerns. So of course, that's how I saw myself. I'm drawn to big drama, big dramas.
Well, and that's the thing that's funny, where you go, if you try to put, I couldn't even imagine trying to do Lawrence of Arabia. You don't want to mess up the sand. You got to that had to be a headache. When you're saying all the films I directed, I have fun, everything's good. Yeah, if you're on Dr. Zhivago or that, or Ron by Akira Kurosawa, so much going on, you're almost too much. But also it's good that you weren't I'm working in this shitty area. I'm better than that. You weren't feeling that way. That's awesome.
Not at all. Listen, I feel comfortable with big. Even if you mentioned the movie Avenging Force, there is a Mardi Gras scene. We created, this is not documentary, we created Mardi Gras scenes, 7 cameras, few thousands of people, and all of this is orchestrated and directed. And we had to do it twice. We had to move the whole Mardi Gras around the block and start from the beginning because we needed it 2 times. And so I feel very comfortable. Breaking to Electric Boogaloo, the final scene, 3,000 extras. I love it. I love it.
Very true.
I feel comfortable with big numbers, big, very comfortable.
Yeah, it must be me then. But also a director's going, oh man, I wish, give me all that. But that Mardi Gras scene is amazing. I've been in New Orleans and it's so busy. I went during Mardi Gras, so it was real busy. But yeah, that whole scene, it was funny. The movie Avenging Force, I knew it was good. People told me and I was I'm waiting. I gotta wait. It's gotta be special. And And then finally I was like, and I watched it, and I'm talking to my cousin who is not that into movies. And I was like, I watched this movie called The Avenging Force. And he goes, oh yeah, I know the one. Like I watch it on cable. Like I'm like, oh, cool. So, but yeah, it's those things, or like we'll get to later. You talked about filming in the swamps and how difficult that was. But and is there a Israel movie that I should see that's like the best, or would that you think is the best, like to dive into that for myself?
I'll tell you, the Israeli cinema, when I was in Israel as a youngster, the Israeli cinema was in infancy. It was only beginning. It was beginning to move. So some of the movies are pretty silly, the storyline, comedies, etc. And then for a while I was assistant director in Israeli cinema, and mainly comedies, local comedies. But I was assistant director in one interesting movie which kind of made it all the way even to the nomination to Oscar, which was Operation Thunderbolt, the raids of Entebbe, which was directed by Menachem Golan. That's pretty big Israeli movie. And when it comes to more comical, on a comical side, not so, the movie Lemon Pepsicle was the movie that was watched by more Israelis and foreign audience than any other Israeli movie.
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
The director was Boaz Davidson, and which I was his assistant also for a while. I was his assistant director for a while.
Yeah.
This is the most famous.
Yeah. I think Quentin
those
said
two movies are the most famous.
I think Quentin said his wife showed it to him, and he was like, "This is amazing." And she goes, "Everybody's seen it. Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "I love it."
Oh, it was huge in Germany, in Japan, in many countries.
Wow.
Those are the two most popular Israeli movies, I would say. Lately, in contrast, there are movies which are more with substance and more on subject movies. Of course, a lot of movies deals with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Many movies, many movies, and some of them are pretty good movies. Good movies. But those are low budget, subsidy type of a movie. You know, the government has to subsidize the industry.
Yeah,
it's not a commercial industry.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is it like in Russia or where you have to do a certain film? Like you can't go off and be like, I'm gonna do an independent film about sex and violence, and they're like, no. You know, is it? Or do you? Yeah.
You can do anything. There is no censorship in Israel.
Okay.
But you need the government. The Ministry of Culture has a subsidy system. If you want to get their money, some people will read the script, but many of the movies are critical of the government, of officials, of the system. That's not a problem in the Israeli cinema.
Yeah.
But again, I'm saying local small movies, because they cannot afford. There is no money to make big movies. There is not enough audience around the world of Hebrew speaking, and some are cultural. But you know, the same is right to many industry. The
Egyptian,
industry,
all kinds.
The Lithuanian, who knows about it? Only local.
But that's what's crazy. I was telling somebody recently, I said, I need to dive more into world cinema, because there's hidden gems out there that you have no idea about, that you're like, what's this movie? And you watch it. Something I was going to say was, shit, I forgot it. But I wanted to say, before I get to some more questions, that I said it kind of off mic, but I want to thank you for and I know it was the zeitgeist at the time, Breaking 2 and, you know, all those, but seeing that in the theater and being a breakdancer, like me and my friends would breakdance around the neighborhood. And I was just like, oh my God, like this, like amazing, like really good. And then the ninja stuff too, you'd go see, there'd be Kung Fu Theater here that they'd play on Saturdays. But then also we'd watch these American Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja. And then I'd go to my friend's house, and his dad had a chain to like pull motors and stuff hanging from a tree. So we'd climb the chain, get up in the tree, walk across the wooden planks.
All the kids.
Yeah, yeah. And it was like, we were like, we're ninjas, you know. And every time you read the karate or kung fu magazine, you were like, I want to get that ninja outfit. And your mom would be like, no, no. And you'd go, well, what am I don't know kung fu. I'm gonna walk around dressed like a ninja, but I bought throwing stars and all that stuff. So thank
So
you.
that's what I also hear when, you know, more and more, even then when I was traveling, we realized that at a certain point that young men, young boys, young men are the main audience of these martial art movies, Revenge of the Ninja. You know, I guess also Octagon and the non-canon also movies.
Yeah.
So young men, young kids and young men are, let's say, between 12 to 42. This is the target audience.
Yeah.
Those are the people who like those movies the most.
Yeah. This morning before we went to bed, I go, honey, you want to watch Revenge of the Ninja? And she goes, no, I'm good. No. I said, okay. But speaking of Revenge of the Ninja, you said like you didn't know Kung Fu, you didn't watch any Kung Fu movies in an interview I read, but Sho Kosugi showed you like some films or just took you to his dojo?
No. Yeah, I'll tell you. When Canon offered me to direct the movie Revenge of the Ninja, and it was after I directed the movie One More Chance with Kirstie Alley, and they offered me, and here was the truth. Previously they made a movie. They produced a movie called Enter the Ninja with Franco Nero and Sho Kosugi. So I watched it. So I saw. I already had an idea, more or less. I've never seen a Hong Kong martial art movie, which we used to call the karate movie or kung fu movies. Remember at the time?
Yeah.
I never saw any of them. What I did see, I saw Japanese movies, which were samurai movies.
Yeah.
Kind of the area. And when they asked me to direct it, they introduced me to Sho Kosugi, the company, and the people of the company, Menachem Golan, head of the company, told me he will star in the movie. In Enter the Ninja, he was the villain, and now they wanted to make him into the hero. Fine. Yeah. So I'm now introduced to this Sho Kosugi. He's from Japan. He moved to Hollywood from Japan, and he was willing to embrace me, so to speak, under his wings, and
that's nice.
Show me and teach me what it is. So what is this genre of the martial art movies is, because I didn't know, I never saw a martial art movie. So he's with two things. Here in Los Angeles, there is a section which is called Little Tokyo, Japanese section of the town. So we went over there. We picked up few books in English and he gave me. So those are the basic, not heavy material. Ninjitsu, what is ninjitsu? What are the ninjas versus samurais, etc. And since I was already familiar with the samurai movies, so I kind of knew. Yeah. So the ninjas are not really from the Hong Kong, not from China side, but from the Japanese side.
Yeah.
And and there is a neighborhood here, big one. It's a town which is Chinese, mainly Chinese population. And they have theaters and they show only Chinese movies. And he took me there to see some of those Hong Kong martial art movies, no translation in Chinese, no subtitles, nothing, because the entire audience were Chinese. But it didn't matter because my job was to observe, to look at the action.
Yeah, the way the fights were filmed.
I started to see what are those fight scenes of this genre. And then Sho Kosugi showed me the different weapon, and I'm talking about even before we even started the filming.
Yeah.
During the pre-production. And he showed me the different weapon and how I went to his dojo, I guess, if I remember, and he had a group of students which eventually came to the movie. He was always surrounded by like 5-on-7 of his students, which were doubles and fighting with him, whatever they needed. He used them for. So I was introduced to them. I saw the demonstration that he showed me, and he started to choreograph the fights and showed me. So I got it. I started to understand. After all, it's still fight scene. It doesn't matter if it's two cowboys in the in the little town.
Yeah,
or
in the
the
bar
good,
or whatever.
the sheriff versus the bad cowboys.
Well,
it's the same. It's the same principle, different technique.
And it's good that you made friends like that. You didn't just come on the set and have to like him. So now you can be like, remember that thing you did last week when you were fighting, and he can be like, oh yeah, when we did that, yeah, can you do that, can we work that, and you can have him be your coordinator of like,
he was the coordinator.
Yeah.
Now there were, I don't want to call it hierarchy, but there was definite jobs in the set. Sho Kasugi choreographed the fights, the martial art fights. The other fights, I'll get to it in 1 second, was another guy, our stunt coordinator, Steve Lambert. So Sho Kasugi is choreographing the martial art fights. Steve Lambert is choreographing any action which is not martial art.
Yeah.
And Sho Kasugi, as I told you, has a group of people who worked with him. We also have we had Kit Vitale on the set, also martial artist. And the people who were with Sho Kasugi, they were good martial artists, you know.
Yeah.
They know how to put the fight together. And if they had to teach the actor, if they have to teach whoever there later on in the other movie, Ninja 3, Lucinda Dickey, how to move, what to do, then that's exactly what they did. And I was the director. So Sho Kasugi, so now we're coming to this function. Sho Kasugi was in charge of martial art. I was in charge of cinematic directing. So I'm looking at the fights. I would suggest here and there, not about the technique of the fight, which I don't understand anything, but rather this is very cinematic and very impressive. But the other thing might be boring on the screen.
Yeah. You're just
why is the hero always on top? I would like to see the hero get beaten at some point and then come up again. Those kind of comments, which were cinematic comment, storytelling comment.
Yeah.
But when it came to martial art, I trusted him 100%, 1,000,000%, because he knows things that I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be
so
like
this was a good combination. The other good thing about Sho Kasugi and myself, that when I got into it, when I got the job and I got this project and I started to work on the script and the storyboard, I did not want, and I saw the Hong Kong movies, I didn't want to make a Hong Kong movie. I did not want to make a martial art movie, but rather I wanted to do James Bond. You know, I wanted to do Bullet with Steve McQueen. But so my decision was to mix, to make a movie which is partially martial art, partially so-called Hollywood action. And Sho Kasugi wanted exactly the same thing. So this was good. It was not a point of conflict, but rather we agreed on the same way that we are going, that we'll make a movie which will mix martial art and Hollywood action.
Yeah,
this was good.
Yeah, it's like when you hear about Jackie Chan, when he would be like, they just go, you go work that fight out, and then we'll work on it. But the Sho Kasugi too is, at 54, sometimes I'm sure you have it happen to you where you're like, who's that guy from the thing? And you can't think of the movie or whatever. Sho Kasugi, I'll always remember. He's got such a unique name that you just, Sho Kasugi, like, Michael Dudikoff. Oh yeah, like, those names, like, it's amazing.
Unique name, presence on the screen, we're talking about charisma, and the mastery of his martial art is amazing.
Yeah.
Listen, you're into martial art. I used to sit on the chair when they rehearse, and I just watch him.
Yeah.
The way he performed, it was magnificent. It was like ballet. It was magnificent. I had the same experience with Mike Stone. Mike Stone was just the same. Mike Stone was the choreographer on the American Ninja.
Yeah.
And he was a champion. He was a master. He still is.
Yeah.
Both of them still are.
And
watching him was amazing. Tadashi Yamashita, same thing.
Well, even
Richard Norton. I had the chance to interact with those good people, and Kit Vitale.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, and that leads me to my next question. Like I wrote here, did you have a lot of extra footage on Breakin' 2? Because I would think that you'd just be, but again, you probably were like, the guy that played Turbo and them, you were like, work out something and then I'll figure out what to cover. But I could always see where you'd be like, this this dance sequence is way too big. Like I gotta, how to take away something cool to,
So the Shokasugi of Breaking Two Electric Boogaloo was Shabadu. Shabadu was the king on the set. He was the most famous, of course, among our dancer. He was at the time the most famous street dancer in the 70s, in the 80s. I'm sorry, and so he was the big name. But there was a choreographer, Billy Goodson. Billy Goodman was the choreographer. And so Shabadu and Billy, they would choreograph. I cannot choreograph a dance. I'm not a dancer. The same thing. Like I'm not a martial artist. I'm not a dancer. So they would choreograph the dance numbers, and they would decide what to do, how to do them. And again, I would come in. They show me this is the procedure. When they finish, they might choreograph and rehearse it even a few days before the filming. And then eventually they come and show me the dance number. So I might have some comments that had to do with storytelling. Where does it fit into the story? Do we have enough drama within the dance, etc., etc.?
Yeah.
But I would not intervene in the intervene in the dance moves. Well, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So some dances are story, like the nurses, the fantasy with the dance of the nurses. It's a little story within the dance. It's a dance with a little story. They're dancing on the tractor, stopping the bulldozer from. So every dance number has a little story, except the end. The end is a big show.
Yeah.
So this was the same procedure. Really the same procedure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's the same as a fight and a dance.
Fight and dance are exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's something else. What else did I have here?
But regarding the length of the movie, of those movies. We worked for Canon Film, and in Canon, and all this is true to all the low budget companies. They wanted movies which are 95 millimeters, 95 minutes only.
Yeah.
This fits into the theater, if a theater gets more than like 100, 101 minutes, 110 minutes, they are losing one showing. It's not good for them. And 95 minutes also at the time used to fit into 2 hours of movies of the week. Then they used to show movies on television. So together with commercial, it's exactly 2 hours. 95.
Exactly.
So Canon insisted on 95. So of course our movies were bigger. When we came back, Revenge of the Ninja, when we came back from the filming and in the editing, we got 2 hours. Sometimes we got more than 2 hours. But in Canon, they forced us to cut it down to 95 minutes. So there is some sequences which are not in the movie at all. And then a few things have to come out because of X rating versus R rating. And because those are violent movies. Electric Boogaloo was also a big movie. And few scenes did not make it to the final movie.
Yeah. It's all that dancing. Like I said, I know the name Turbo because I was like, I like that guy. But can you talk about the incident that changed your life while on a break while making American Ninja? I read this in an interview that you gave.
Well, I think you're referring
it was the one at the hotel
that we saved the girl. I'll tell you the story, and to your listeners, and it's an interesting story. We went to American Ninja to film the movie American Ninja in the Philippines, in Manila, mainly in Manila. It's not only in Manila, it's all over the Philippines. And we stayed in the most prestigious Hotel Manila, in Manila. And when I was a teenager, I participated once in this class of life-saving,
like an EMT, like
but a swimming pool. Life-saving. Lifeguard. In a swimming pool. So I participated in one of those 3 days class course. And through the years, I don't know why, for some reason, I always had this tension when I was in a swimming pool and there are kids running around. I was always under tension. I was afraid that something will happen. In any case, so this I was carrying with me. And now we're in the Philippines, and I'm 35 years old. In 1985, I'm 35 years old. And Michael and me, it was Sunday. We are not working, and we are in the swimming pool. And I guess the crew is there on the lounge on the chairs. And Michael happened to be next to me. Michael Dudikoff happened to be next to me. And then suddenly I see a young woman running around the perimeter of the pool, and she's in panic. So something is wrong here. And I look to the direction that she is looking, and I see a girl and bobbing in the water, up and down, up and down. I look around, the lifeguard was not there. The lifeguard of the swimming pool. It's a hotel swimming pool,
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lifeguard, but at the moment he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So, I immediately I realized there is some kind of emergency. I tapped Michael. He was right next to me like this. I said, Michael, jump with me into the water, no question asked. Just dive with me down to the bottom. So we both jump, and I had this little knowledge from my
from your training, your little
20 years earlier.
Yeah.
And we are diving, and the girl by then was already down in the bottom. She was not anymore going up and down. So I guess he realized, he didn't know, but diving he realized. So we both of them, we scooped the girl, and we brought her to the edge of the swimming pool, but she was lifeless at this point. And I tried to do resuscitation, which I don't know if I did correct or not correct. And then suddenly there were, at the time, there were many American soldiers in the Philippines. There was a huge base next to the Manila, Subic Bay. So suddenly, like a husky guy pushing us aside, Michael and me, and he said, I'm a medic, move aside, I know what to do. And we did, and he did the resuscitation the correct way, I guess, or better than what we did. We didn't know. And suddenly she spewed the water out, and she started to breathe, and she came back to life.
Wow.
So, what you have mentioned, that it gets you thinking, it got me thinking. Making movies is nice. It's entertainment. We create entertainment for the masses, for the people to entertain. But maybe in some mystical way, maybe the whole thing of American Ninja being in the Philippines,
for you to be there at that time,
actually the real purpose was to save this girl. In
Yeah.
some mystical way, in some order, universal order, was not to make a movie, Michael and me, but to save a girl from drowning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a good story. People ask me, what is the most significant part of making American Ninja? I always say saving the girl from drowning.
It's too bad you didn't know who she was, that you can reach out and be like, hey, remember me? Like we say,
you
did? Oh, okay.
The reason was, it was a Chinese family, and the mother who was running around, it was her mother, did not speak any other language but Chinese. And we are in the Philippines. The Filipinos are speaking English mainly, except Bahasa Filipino, the local language, but they speak English, and we speak English. So she couldn't communicate when she was in panic, and she did. But of course, we met. They stayed in the hotel. This family.
Yeah.
We met them, and actually, myself and my wife and me, we traveled to Hong Kong. They were from Hong Kong. We traveled from Hong Kong to Hong Kong after we finished the filming, and we met with the family, with the girl, and with the mother and her father, the family again.
That's really cool.
But still, they did not. The father spoke English a little bit. The father.
Yeah. No, that's really good. Those are those things.
A good story.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's another good story, and I hate doing this because I read this in interviews and I go, oh, that was good, I need to have him tell that. But I feel like we're on a talk show where they're like, didn't you go on holiday recently? And that person's like, oh, yes, I did. How weird that you asked me. Like, let me tell you the story. I already told you. But it was a story of filming in the swamps in Louisiana for Avenging Force. That scene when they're fighting in the rain and you got the moss floating on the water, it looks amazing. Like, I know it was hell to shoot, but it looked amazing.
So this is interesting. When we did the script was written by Jim Booth. He's an actor, English actor, and it's a well-written script. That's the best script I ever got from my entire career. This was the best script, and it calls for this fight. It was written for New Orleans. The script was written for New Orleans. We didn't adapt it. And it was written for Chuck Norris, but he didn't want to do the movie.
Yeah, I heard it was going to be
a sequel. It was the sequel to
Invasion USA.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it. In any case, and I knew right away, and actually New Orleans is a place, is a city which is expensive to film, to shoot. So Canon was the company was trying to convince me, let's find another city like Phoenix, which is cheap. Salt Lake City, Phoenix, those are much cheaper places to shoot. And no, I told them the script is New Orleans. We need the Mardi Gras, the bayous, and we need
that parade being anywhere else would be like, oh, what are you kidding me? Yeah.
So they gave up. The company was by then so busy doing big movies, so they gave up, and we went to New Orleans. And then during the scouting, we actually drove to the bayous. The bayous are pretty far from New Orleans. You have to cross Lake Pontchartrain, the longest bridge in America.
Oh yeah, I've been on that. We went to have seafood. We had to drive across that bridge. It was like, oh my gosh.
So every day 1.5 hour and 1.5 hour back to the hotel in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And those are impressive. Now, of course, the way it works, there is a lot of oil drilling in this area. So there are like earth ducts that you can go into we didn't go deep into the swamps,
Yeah.
So we are shooting near those kind of ducts for the oil drilling, but little bit deep enough so you don't see them, so you don't see the land part.
Yeah. Film the other way. Yeah.
And we don't have. This is low budget movies. Our movies, we don't have this luxury of building an artificial swamp, and we don't have the money. That's what they would do if they have a movie with big stars in a studio.
Universal has that lake area that they always use.
They would build a swamp, basically. Warm water, everything would be fantastic. We didn't have this luxury. So anyway, we went to this swamp. The one problem that we faced that was people were sinking, so we had to build floor under the water.
Oh man,
Plywood and mesh. We try mesh, they try mesh, the plywood. Eventually, plywood was floating. They had to put weight to keep the plywood down.
Yeah,
and we resolved this one problem. The second problem, in a live swamp, there are alligators and snakes. So now we had to solve this problem. So our stunt team was guarding. So usually coming in the morning, they did some kind of a big, big boom, so everybody will escape from this ring, from this area. And then they stood around in a ring with guns in case crocodile will come close, but never happened. We never had invasion of crocodile. But still very, very difficult because we are all in the water up to our waist, the crew and the actors.
Yeah.
And then
the rain machine.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's borrowed from Akira Kurosawa, Fighting in the Rain. Seven Samurai. They're fighting in the rain.
Yeah.
So over there are rain. Like every day there is rain, like 1 hour, 2 hours rain.
Yeah.
So now, anyway, because there was rain anyway, we brought the rain machines, which are really nothing fancy. It's just hoses with the... But the trucks with the water have to come. We couldn't use the swamp water. We need clean water.
Yeah. Oh, very true. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Tankers with pumps and people will shoot the water up. It comes down like a rain. And sometimes it was a natural rain. But this was a conscious decision that I made as a director. I want to see this fight in the rain.
Yeah.
Now, that's another physical problem for the stunt people, definitely for the actors, Michael Dudikoff and the other actor and John P. Ryan, and they had to also be there in the swamps, in the rain.
And falling into the water and like all of that.
The water and sometimes it will be stunt double, sometimes it will be the real actors. Michael Dudikoff did a lot of the stuff by himself. He's very athletic.
Yeah.
He was young then. He was very very athletic, and he wanted to do a lot of stuff by himself, and he did, and so did the other.
Yeah,
John
like
Wallace. The people they wanted to do it, but it was just
Mhm.
physically exhausting. And then at the end of the day, and just moving trucks around, and the trucks were sinking in the mud.
Oh, yeah.
The logistic problem, but
Yeah.
it was great.
And and the hour and a half there, and yeah.
We had a lightning machine, rain machine,
Oh,
and
wow.
lightning machine.
Yeah.
You see the lightnings.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it looked amazing. It was amazing. But yeah, those are the things like I talked about before. I think Spielberg finally got to watch Jaws, but it was such a pain that he never wanted to watch it because it brought back all the trauma of the shark not working. And so now he finally saw it. But also that's another thing where you see the movie, you're the director, you know what you did. So you're not lost in the world of Jaws or in the world of, Avenging Force or anything, because you're like, oh, that was a day that I had a tuna fish sandwich and talked to Michael about, whatever. Something that I wrote here, Avenging Force is also another movie that deals with race. And then and I had a hard time writing this into a question just because I feel weird about it. But did you feel that, like what Tarantino said about at the Jerusalem Film Festival, about racism and canon being treated different, and were you treated different? And did you feel any of the racism that you kind of projected onto your movies, or it was more like Riverbend? I understand it was 66, took place then,
Yeah, Avenging Force deals with white supremacy.
Yeah,
racism.
yeah,
Different
yeah.
story from
Yeah, very
Totally.
true, very true. Yes.
It's Avenging Force is a imaginary story of men
Yeah.
hunting,
Yeah.
but the base, the group of the evils, the bad guys are
Yeah.
white supremacy people.
Yeah.
So they are a little bit different from
Yeah, from the
racism in the
sheriff.
South, in the racial racism. But anyway, so this was the group. Personally, no, but the Jewish people, the Jewish race, if you look at the history, they have been discriminated, especially in Europe, in Eastern Europe, through the ages. So this is a kind of history lessons and schooling and things which are sunk into people who are Jewish, because they carry with them all the stories. I personally, I did not experience persecution or racism through my life because I was born after World War II. So this was a good time,
Yeah,
Where there were
yeah.
50s, 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s. Those are good times in the world, quiet times in the world. And even in the American race relationship, it was getting better and better after the 60s.
Yeah.
Better and better. So not personally, but perhaps a director, the two people who create the movie, the writer and the director, they bring in a lot of things that they don't necessarily know that they're bringing in. It might be subconscious. So somebody who grew up in a certain area will bring into the movie the stuff that he brought in. Like the writer of Riverbend, a lot of stuff that we see in the movie he saw as a child. So it's now in the movie. Not necessarily, he wasn't sitting there and say, "Oh, it's not a story about my childhood." But into this fantasy story, he brought in element of his childhood. So I grew up in the 50s in a neighborhood of multicultural. It was in Jerusalem. I grew up in Jerusalem. And it was after the World War II, and people came from all over the world to settle in Israel. Jewish people from Hungary, from Romania, from Morocco, from Persia, from Iran, from Iraq. And in my neighborhood, it was a melting pot. A lot of cultures, a lot of different languages, different food from all over the world. So this reflects itself later when you see the movie Breaking to Electric Boogaloo. So it's not necessarily about my childhood. Definitely not about my childhood.
Yeah.
But there are elements who are being inserted in either consciously or subconsciously, because
Yeah.
the director is in charge of everything. He makes most of the decisions. So probably, but
not
again, it's a story,
professionally.
and
Yeah.
I don't think that Jim Booth that wrote the script, he grew up an Englishman in England. He didn't
Yeah.
go any to any persecution or
Yeah.
any problem
Yeah,
because
he
he
just
comes from the
knew, like,
majority.
how to
But
write a
still,
bad guy.
he wrote the script because what he read about, what he knew, and
Yeah.
what he saw in America. So that's how
Yeah.
he wrote the script of Avenging Force.
That's what's in it. I was watching this Scorsese documentary, and in there, Robert De Niro talks about he'll have something from his childhood that he'll go, "Hey, this happened to me. I just thought of it. It would be good to," and Scorsese will be like, "Yeah, let's put it in." Like it's those kind of, like what you're saying. Like when I
Absolutely.
was 12, I did that, okay.
And some influences are just copying old movies that
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
saw when he was a youngster.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's like,
I told the story about how I was very much influenced by the movie The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad the Sailor when I was a kid. And then one day I realized that in the movie Avenging Force, I directed a scene which is actually unknowingly was borrowed from Sinbad the Sailor.
Yeah,
A fight on the deck of the ship.
Yeah.
Exactly, almost
Yeah.
exactly similar scene happens in Seven Voyage of the Sinbad the Sailor.
Well, and that's like what you said, the fight in the rain. Like you're like, wait, this would look better
Seven
with
Samurai.
rain. I know it's a bitch, but it'll look better with rain,
Yeah.
So now it's interesting about Riverbend because this could almost be a double feature with Mississippi Burning. Like, like it's, and I have never seen Mississippi Burning, but I know the gist of it. But it's the town and them trying to, get to the bottom of it. And they came around the same time. Also, I wonder if it was because the leads were black in the movie that maybe it didn't skyrocket or get word of mouth or something, because it almost plays like an episode of the A-Team is what I was thinking. Like, where the A-Team would always, well, come on, let's help this town, like somebody, and then they build all their stuff and they fight against the town. And but it's also a little bit like Magnificent Seven, like them kind of training the town and stuff. And it should have done better, but also like you kind of said, like it didn't get a lot of release, like a big release. It just kind of came out and dropped out,
Completely. So listen, this story, let's go back to the writer. The writer is Sam Vance, who was also the producer. So he was a black gentleman who served in Vietnam and came back from Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
The script was not written, the movie was filmed in 1989, but he wrote it 10 years earlier.
Wow.
So it took him 10 years to carry the script until some money came in and we made the movie. But he wrote it way in advance. So it's not necessarily the 80s. And the interesting thing about his story, the most interesting thing, that he's telling a story about a group of black citizens who are being oppressed. They take matter into their own hand to resolve their problem. The cinema of the 70s and the 80s, if there was in the racial type of movie, black and white, if there was a problem, in most of the cases, it was some white people who will resolve the problem of the black people. Killer Meckenberg.
Yeah, right. Like,
so the
like
white
A-Team
lawyer
so
saves the problem.
Yeah.
There are very, very, very few movies, definitely in the when we made this movie, 89, which has this idea that the minority are taking care of themselves to resolve the problem.
Yeah.
Very, very, very few movies.
Well, yeah, it's
and
like,
the subject,
you.
so this was radical at the time in 1990. It was radical. There was no such a movie. This was the only movie. Maybe here and there were another. Michael Dennis think that there is only one more movie that has the same idea, that the black population, the oppressed population, minority take care of themselves and resolve the problem. So here comes this movie, and I presume, I don't know, It was produced with private money. Private money made this movie. So it was not a company in the beginning. There was no
Right.
film companies.
Yeah.
This company, they created a small company in Texas. It was money from Texas. We filmed in Texas. The movie was finished. And those people, the producer, the money people, are now trying to shop the movie around to get some distribution. They don't know how to distribute movie. They don't have no idea.
Yeah.
And eventually, and this was, I guess, I presume it was such a radical that most of the companies didn't want to touch it. Radical idea. Despite the fact that it was Mississippi Burning, but Mississippi Burning, again, it's the white people who are so here, eventually a company bought it, small company, Prism. And the money people, producers sold it to this company. Impact, Prism was a small company, distribution company, mainly overseas. So they got together with another company, IRC, to release it here in America. And this IRC, or what we call Northern America, Canada and US, and this company got it to Paramount somehow.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So Paramount, at this point, agreed to distribute the movie. What Paramount did, they had like few screenings, very few screening in the East Coast only. There was no screening in the West Coast at all. Theatrical, very, 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 very limited. And then they came out with a video cassette, VHS cassette, as it was customary at the 80s.
Yeah.
If a movie was not big movie, theatrical, huge studio movie, it would come immediately as cassette. If it was a big studio movie, it would come 9 months later in the cassette store. So they got it in cassettes. They made copies, Paramount, in a very poor quality, if I might say so. Really, the video is bad quality, even for the time. I saw cassettes which are. I mean, VHS was not the greatest video quality.
But looked better than that. Yeah.
And they came out with very few copies. Wow. So I hear from people here and there who used to work in video shop that there was one copy in the rental shop, where other movies were 5 copies, 10 copies. And not in every shop, in very few shops.
Wow.
And then after, very quickly, the prints, the 35 millimeter prints disappeared. Maybe they collected them back. I don't know. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
They disappeared. And the few VHS cassettes in the store didn't make any remarks in the waves in the marketplace, nothing.
No reviews.
There were no big star. We just have Steve James. So Steve James was only known to the action crowd. He was not familiar outside the action crowd.
Yeah.
And
so carrying the movie.
The reason the movie disappeared.
Yeah.
Now, you can say that I can come up with theory. Maybe Paramount bought the movie in order so there is no competition with Mississippi Burning. It's the same subject you mentioned. So sometimes it happens in Hollywood, in the movie business, in the music business, that the company will buy some property in order to bury it. They call it to bury it so it will not compete. They will, in the music, they will buy entire catalog of one musician, so it will not compete with another musician. It happened. So, but it was radical subject at the time. It was definitely radical subject at the time.
Yeah. It is so good. And you're right. That was what was cool. Michael Dennis puts it up on YouTube. The videos, burn the rip of the VHS. And that's where I first watched it. When he told me about it, he was like, and I watch it and you're like, yeah. And then when he sent me, how it looks now, like with the 6K transfer, it looks amazing.
Fantastic.
And and it's just, it just pops. Like yesterday, I even threw it from my computer to my TV. And I was like, I think it looks better on my computer but then it, got better on my TV. I think it was just a connection thing, but
no, what he sent you is not 6Ks, sample of the 6K.
Oh, okay.
Not a real 6K.
Well, right.
You got a sample of.
It
had to reduce it, but how it looks.
Yeah. And it had the river bend thing on it, but yeah, it was a screener copy of it. But yeah, it looked way better than the VHS.
Absolutely.
It's
So as you know, as I told you, Philip, the movie disappeared, totally disappeared.
yeah.
And at some point, I decided to upload a copy, the VHS copy that I have, digitize it, upload it to my channel, my YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And then I found out that somebody else did exactly the same thing. And so this was Michael Dennis from Real Black. His YouTube channel has 1.5 million followers. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, the reason I uploaded it is to see if anybody will object, because you know the rule
rights
is
or
that
whatever.
if you upload YouTube something that somebody has a copy, not copyright but distribution right, they will bring it down immediately within 2 hours, within 2 days. It's out.
Yeah.
They will not allow it. And now nobody complained about my upload, and which kind of is telling me that nobody has the rights to the movie.
Yeah.
And same thing with Michael. Michael did it and nobody objected.
Yeah.
Because I found out that he also uploaded it, I contacted him and you know, say, okay, well, I'm so happy you and then I saw what is Black Real, what is the organization. I'm sorry, Real Black. What is the organization? What do they do? They preserve, they rescue and preserve Black cinema in general. And that's Mike Dennis. That's his goal in life.
Yeah.
And you know, I thank them for. And then we decided somehow more. It was his initiative to let's try to create a better copy. This is a very poor quality copy. And that's when we found out that there are no 35 millimeter print original to get, to hold, to put your hand on, in order to scan it, to digitize it into a high quality digital. There was no print around, and it took 3 years of a hard detective work and some legal maneuvers and legal work to eventually get the original work, which is the original negative. It's even better than a 35 millimeter print. And the scan that you saw is from the original negative directly.
Oh, okay.
That's why it
Wow.
looks so pristine and good.
Yeah.
And the other thing that Michael did, he commissioned somebody to create a poster. I will hold it here.
Yeah, it's
this is a hand-painted poster. But okay.
So beautiful.
And we wanted a poster. We worked on the poster. We wanted a poster that will look like the 80s. You know, will have the feeling of the 80s. It's like a Chuck Norris, like a Schwarzenegger type of poster.
Exactly. And was it true that he found it in Africa is where he found this print?
So as we are talking about it and about the possibilities, and I was searching through the years to see who has the distribution right, where is the material, maybe we can do something with it. I was not successful. One day Michael finds in eBay, pops up a copy of print, 35 millimeter print of Riverbend in South Africa.
Wow.
He bought it in South Africa and they shipped it to him.
Yeah.
And it arrived in America. It was sitting in his office for a while, and until one day we decided, okay, let's take it to a scanning. Let's scan it.
Yeah, there's that picture of you holding it. Yeah.
And then we realized it was full of scratches, dirt, you know, speckles all over. And about 5 scenes were missing from the print. From the original movies were cut out of the print.
Yeah.
Now the movie is more than 100 minutes, so maybe somebody cut it to make it short to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Or maybe because it was South Africa and some racial issues during the apartheid, who knows? I don't know how old this print was. So it was missing, and there was a lot of, it was hard to correct the colors and the, but he did. And it was scanned in a process or quality which is called 2K. 2K is high quality, is high definition, high definition, but not as good as what you saw.
Yeah.
And this digital copy, we went to 3 film festivals. We were invited by 3 film festivals. But I might say that Michael, for me, it was enough. I felt it with him. But
Yeah.
Michael was restless. He was not happy with this. He wanted to go even farther, missing scenes, quality, etc. And he found through detective work that there is one print, complete print in the Library of Congress. You know, there is one copy of every movie, every American movie that was ever produced in the Library of Congress.
Yeah.
But they don't give it out for scanning. They wouldn't give it to Michael for scanning.
Yeah.
But we knew that somewhere there is the negative there, because either in Texas, I was suspicious that in Texas, so either in Texas or here, the original is, and more detective work through the Library of Congress and to the other, and there is an organization which is looking for movies. It's called lostmovies.com, which are doing some detective work. And we finally found Michael and his lawyers, etc. We found out that actually the rights to the movie are not with. Part of the problem to find out is that the two companies that held the movie, Prism and IRC, they went bankrupt a long time ago, many years ago.
Yeah.
And they did not exist. And Paramount, which came up with the cassettes, didn't have the rights anymore. They expired the distribution right. And through some detective work, we found out that for some strange reason, the distribution rights belong to MGM now.
Wow.
Nobody knows why. Maybe from Paramount it moved. We don't know.
Yeah.
But MGM was in a problem because they did not have the right to exploit it financially. They just had the right, but they were missing the the rights that allow them to
distribute
let's say, come up with DVD. They could not. This was not in the contract. And through the help of this organization, lostfilm.com, and Michael's lawyer and some other copyright lawyers who are expert at this, we found out that when a company is only a custodian of a movie, like in this case, MGM became the custodian of Riverbend, but Riverbend cannot be screened in any theater, cannot be transferred to video, nothing. It cannot move from this limbo. But if there is a producer, and the companies are bankrupt, so the rights cannot go backward to the companies. But if there is a producer, one of the producer, the original producer, it can go back because all of the companies are not existing anymore, so the rights can go back.
Oh, wow.
We found one of the, there were four producers in this.
That's awesome.
Two couples. We found one of them. She was a lady, Valerie Vance, and the wife of Sam Vance, the writer. Both of them were producers. Sam Vance passed away by now. And she lives in Atlanta. We finally found her. And we found out that she had a copy of the movie, but when we opened it, it was all faded, so it wasn't good.
Oh, yeah.
But she was now the legal one who can get the rights back from MGM, the distribution right.
Yeah.
So some lawyers worked out the details and the paperwork, and MGM gave the rights back to Valerie, and Valerie sold the rights to Real Black, to Michael.
Nice.
Now we had to look for where is the negative, because MGM told us that it's with some lab. There is a small laboratory here, photocam, and photocam, say yes. And Mike wants the movie to take it from them, and they say, well, you have to bring a letter from the company who gave the movie to us, this company that doesn't exist anymore. Again, some legal work. MGM gave them a letter that they can release the negative. And then they told us they don't have the negative anymore. It's in some warehouse. They traced it down that it's in some warehouse out there in another town, Burbank, outside Los Angeles. And I was, it was my job to drive all the way over there to this warehouse and to retrieve the negative. And when I got there, was waiting for me more than one box, not only the negative. There was the negative, the original sound, something which is called negative sound, optical sound, internegative, interpositive.
Wow, they had everything. Awesome.
And the original tapes, which the VHS was made from, and trailer, a lot of different type of trailers and the material. So I came back home like with 7 boxes, and they are heavy.
Yeah.
Every box is 5 reels of film. That's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
heavy.
Yeah.
And so finally we had a good negative.
And a
Original
full,
negative,
yeah,
unscratched.
116-minute, yeah.
Yeah, the whole movie, no missing scenes, 105 minutes, I think. The
Yeah,
whole
that,
movie,
yeah, 100, yeah, yeah.
beginning to end. And we shipped it to a place which are a digitizing place, and they did this 6K digitized copy that you saw.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's fantastic. And we had to correct the color because transferring from negative to video, the colors are shifting. So we had to recorrect the color. I worked with Michael. I worked with the people who do this. We recorrected the color. We did the sound. We are still going to upgrade the sound to a better. The sound is a simple stereo, regular stereo from the old days. So we are going to make the sound better.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, and you guys are releasing that in, is it June?
So that's what happened. Now we have a good copy, and the organization Real Black has the rights, and Mike Dennis, and they are going to come up with a Blu-ray, including extra material, commentary track, documentary goes along with the, and photo album, and all of this will come out in June next year.
Yeah.
2026. So we're still in preparation, the boxes, the poster, but meantime, let me just show you 3 pictures that we made from the movie. Obviously, Steve James, he's the hero of the movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that, yeah,
In the
that,
sheriff's
that's
office.
such a badass, yeah.
And Margaret Avery, the leading lady.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
And here is Steve with the 2 co-stars.
And that's the other, oh, that's
Julia
those are
Stennett and
really
Alex
cool.
Morris.
Yeah.
And they are preparing, and Michael is Real Black are preparing all the material for the release in June. But what happened last week that the American Cinematheque decided to screen this. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. Along together with all the negative, we found a print, a screening print of the movie, 35 millimeter.
Wow.
A print that was used in the old days to screen. This was a pristine screen. A print was never screened before. So the American Cinematheque have decided to mark or to commemorate or to mark this the fact that we found the material with a screening, a West Coast premiere, belated premiere because the movie was never premiered.
Yeah, never had.
West Coast.
Yeah.
And last week, the American Cinematheque conducted or presented such a screening. It was beautiful. Some of the actors came, whoever lives in this area, Margaret Avery, and the 3
Julius.
actors.
Well, even Julius's wife is Viola Davis. She came and literally gave Margaret her flowers. Like, thank you.
Viola Davis came as well.
So good.
And it was a very nice, the editor lives here in Los Angeles, Marcus Menton. Michael Dennis came all the way from Philadelphia here to the screening. And it was nice amount of crowd, like 200 people, 250 spectators, viewers. So it was a very nice, very, very exciting, very emotional screen. Beside that, Steve James, he died about 20 years ago. He passed away. But his daughter, Debbie James, was in the screening to represent Steve James, the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
And so therefore, it was a very emotional screening and very exciting to see the entire movie, no missing scenes, 35 millimeter on a huge screen.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's where it stands. We might have few more screenings in the future before June.
Yeah.
But this is the plan. To release it on a Blu-ray disc.
Yeah, I'll have the links in the show note to buy the Blu-ray.
Now, some people are already Real Black is pre-selling the Blu-ray, not expensive, $40 with some few extra.
You get
perks. Whoever wants to pre-sell to help a little bit because he's still raising money to finish
Yeah,
preparation of the Blu-ray.
It's so exciting. That's where, sometimes these films get, there's a big story of London After Midnight, the Lon Chaney movie that they say got lost, maybe in the fire, but they don't know. And people are waiting for this Lon Chaney movie to pop up because there's only a couple of photos from that. And same thing with, remember, Blade Runner had the director's cut that nobody could find. Finally, they found it in England, and it was like, oh. And something that I did a couple of weeks ago on the show was a movie called Redneck Miller. It was a regional film that came out filmed in South Carolina and came out, and then just kind of went away. And then finally, somebody got the rights and they put out on Blu-ray, and it looks amazing. Redid it.
Philip, when I went to this warehouse, which is a good air condition, and especially for film, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movies over there.
Yeah.
That some of them are unclaimed, some of them are waiting for the clearing of the legal rights. But the warehouse had hundreds of boxes of movies, thousands.
Yeah.
So there are many, many movies like this still
That's
around.
where, it makes you think if that was one.
And some of them, they don't know that the movie's in some warehouse.
Yeah. Or like we said, like Riverbend was like, well, we don't have the rights to even release it, so we're just holding it. There's movies like that where you go, well, shit, can we go through all this and do a search and find the original producers? Because if you wait too long, if you waited a little longer, then maybe what's her name wouldn't have been alive.
Right.
And
there is a law in America. Eventually, it becomes public domain. Every movie eventually becomes public domain.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, 100
years.
It's
not forever, but there is this period before it's public domain that you have to find somebody.
To
release the movie.
Well, and those are the things, you hear those stories. George Romero did Night of the Living Dead, but didn't know about distribution. And then they were like, oh, well, you don't own the rights anymore. You're not going to make money from this. Everybody else did but him. And it's like, I learned my lesson. But
it happened also a lot.
Yeah, but something else I want to say, you directed 6 episodes of Tropical Heat, aka Sweating Bullets. I didn't know that until I'm going through your stuff when I'm writing on and I'm like, oh my God, I love that because it was like moonlighting, but it was, a little after moonlighting. But it was like in Hawaii or where in the tropics. It was really cool. Like that guy, like it was funny. It was, had action, everything. It was really cool. All those things made me always want to be I wanted to be a private eye. I was like, I want to be a private eye. But same thing with, you want to be a ninja, you want to be a private eye, you want to be a break dancer. Oh, speaking of, so did you watch the Olympics when Australia had their break? Were you like, what? Were you like everybody else? What the hell are you doing?
No, let me also mention that Michael Shrimp was very excited before the Olympic. I'm kind of in touch with him a little bit. Shabadoo passed away during the pandemic. But Michael was very, very excited about the whole fact that there will be, breakdance competition in Paris. Olympic. He was kind of disappointed that he was not one of the judges. I think so.
Yeah.
But he was very excited. Yeah, and I watched a little bit here and there.
Yeah, some of it was good, and then some of it, like I said, Australia, you were like, why even join when you don't know what you're doing? But
this went viral.
It's like but the what was I gonna say? I forget. But anyway, I usually on here I have my favorite of the week, my film favorite of the week. It's Avenging Force, your movie from 1986. I'll read the plot here, even though it's a long plot, but I did take out, there was a part of the plot that gave away something. And I was like, no, that was the exciting thing. When the invasion of the farmhouse, martial arts expert Matt Hunter was one of the most promising operatives in the Army intelligence until his parents were killed by terrorists, and he retired to the family farm in Louisiana to take care of his 12-year-old sister, Sarah, and their grandfather, Jimmy. Larry Richards, a black man running for Senate, is one of Matt's best friends. Larry has become the target of the Pentangle, a racist organization led by a man named Glastonbury, which I love that guy. That guy's the best bad guy, always plays the best
John P. Ryan.
Yeah. He doesn't want Larry to be elected. in an attempt on Larry's life during a Mardi Gras parade in New Orleans. The Pentangle kills one of Larry's sons. Matt lets Larry, his wife Daisy, and his other son move to the remotely located farm so they can hide from Glastonbury and the Pentangle. But the Pentangle strikes again, setting the farmhouse on fire. Then the Pentangle kidnaps Sarah, sending Matt on a mission to rescue Sarah from Glastonbury and the Pentangle. I give this 4 stars, 4 out of 5. It was really good. Like I said, back in the day, I used to be like, oh, Michael Dudikoff. Then, you're watching American Ninja 2. I'm watching this. I'm loving it. And, so thank you for that. Thank you for all of your stuff. Have you watched anything recently that you would like to share? A good movie.
Listen, number one, we are talking about Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
So Quentin Tarantino, his latest movie, Once Upon a West, Once Upon a Time in
Hollywood. Yeah.
For me, for being a low budget film director, is the best movie he ever made. It was an homage to us.
Yeah.
I'm not alone. There was Albert Payun was making low budget movies, and there was Sheldon Lettich was working with Van Damme, and there was Joe Zito working with Chuck Norris, Toby Hooper, etc., and many more. Robert, best of the best, Robert. Redman, and Steve Carver that worked with the. So this was a movie about us, in a way. Stunt people and an actor, because many times we worked with actors who has been in our movies, and so this movie blew me away. I was. And there are some scenes with the stuntmen, because I worked all my life with the stunt people, and so this was kind of the best movie. But lately, the last year, I love the movie Our Darkest Hour about Churchill, and but in the last year, the best 2 movies I saw that I liked the one was the one with Bob Dylan, the movie about.
Yeah. I still haven't seen that, but I hear it's really good. Yeah,
it's really good because listen, especially to people my age, because we grew up with the cinema. It's about the early years of Bob Dylan, but it's a nice, good drama made. But the movie that won the Oscar, what's the name of the movie? I forgot. Name of a girl is fantastic.
Oh, the Honora one? Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. It's a modern filmmaking, which is true. The directing is so dynamic.
The acting,
the acting of all the actors. The violence is poetic violence. The type of violence that Tarantino writes in his book. In his book, he glorify this kind of action, the Wild Bunch.
And the comedy of her, like, why'd you tie her up for? She's gonna run away, and she runs away, and they gotta go chase her. Like,
Honora, in my opinion, last year was to me was really good movie. And incidentally, this was the first year. I can vote for the best director.
Oh, cool.
Directing.
Yeah.
This was the first time that my choice really made it. I always choose the wrong movies for some reason.
You're like, damn it.
Or not the wrong movies, but the movies who don't do it. The one I choose will never won. This year was the first year that the movie that I voted for actually won.
That's
or the
cool.
directing of Honora. It was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I agree with you about Quentin Tarantino. I think he matured as a auteur, as a director, and like this Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's where everybody goes, well, he's going to make 10 films. I agree, where he could just drop the mic now and be like, I'm good. Like, I left you with that. Like, you're good.
For cinema people, for people who love movies.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for the entire audience in the world.
Not very true.
Movie fans like you and me. But for me, it was amazing. So I wrote to him that I thanked him for the service that he did and the support through the years to the low budget independent action genre director.
Well, and even at the Jerusalem Film Festival, you gave him your book. You had sent him your book.
Yeah.
And
This is the
yeah,
book.
I need to get that book. Yeah. Oh,
Stories
so
from the
cool.
Trenches.
Yeah.
And many movies are covered here, including the American Ninja, including Riverband, Avenging Force,
Yeah.
stories from Avenging Force, stories from American Ninja, stories
That's
from
cool.
working with David Bradley, with Michael Dudikoff,
Yeah. Oh,
etc.,
that's
etc.
awesome.
So yeah, he got a copy of this book, Tarantino.
That's cool.
And
Yeah, that's
he acknowledged, he mentioned that some, Kill Bill is a great movie by all dimension, but
Yeah.
it's influenced by the type of movies by Sho Kasugi. It's
Yeah.
influenced in a way by
Mhm.
Revenge of the Ninja.
Yeah, yeah. Fighting in that blue light,
It's a
like
higher,
that whole
it's
thing.
a higher
Yeah.
level, but
Mhm.
it is influenced by it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is obvious.
That's
and
that's
other Hong Kong martial art movies, but including.
that's where we said, like, with you being like, oh, I saw this in Seven Samurai, let's do this. Let's do, I saw this fight, from Sinbad, like, let's put that up there. It's those things where he's like, hey, I want this, but also he'll switch it a little bit. He'll change it up.
Absolutely.
A fight in the rain on a boat or something, he'll do like weird shit like that, which is awesome.
Hey, listen,
but
in every field, once in a while, there is a genius. Obviously, Tarantino is a genius in the cinema and creating cinema, writing and directing. No question about it. He's the latest. Let's say after we used to have Coppola, we had the Spielberg, then came Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, very true. Did you read his book, The Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the book, the novelization of it?
No,
I
read the book that he's talking about
cinema
all the movies
speculation
in his childhood.
Yeah. Because the book, if you like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, his book was made after the movie, but he wrote it. It's more expansive. So it's like a reverse novelization. Like, it's not a novelization of the movie. It's got more added about Manson and it's just really cool. And about if Brad Pitt killed his wife or not. Like, you find out all that. You hear a backstory of, Brad Pitt's character. It's awesome.
Well, the scene that Brad Pitt meets the martial artist, the Jackie Chan.
Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Oh my God. But many martial artists did not like this scene at all.
Yeah, even
I met many martial artists who didn't like this scene.
Bruce Lee's daughter was I'm very upset with that, and she was like, also, he didn't wear those glasses in '66 and blah blah blah. And it's like,
this was so funny when he meets Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
In the studio, in my opinion, it was so funny.
Yeah, it's
so funny.
Yeah. He's like, anybody kill anybody, it's called manslaughter. Like, what do you mean? Like. Oh yeah, so good.
And the one scene that the actor is talking with the little girl who comes to him. Are on the porch. I love this scene.
Yeah, well, and that whole thing of him holding on to her and everything, and then being like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I got pads on. I'm good." And you're like, "Oh, that's awesome." But
it was such a great scene.
I could talk to you forever. I don't mean to end you out, but you're probably like, "Hey, we've been talking for an hour and a half." But let me promote what's coming next week. So come back on November 28th, when I will be joined once again by Rob Papp from the Cinemigos podcast that's right, from 1980. It's Night of the Juggler. This is another movie that kind of came out, but kind of quickly went away. It had James Brolin in it, and tough guy New York City ex-cop relentlessly searches for his kidnapped teenage daughter, who is held by a twisted psycho after mistaking her for the daughter of a wealthy businessman. So talking about Kurosawa, this is basically High and Low, where they he sees two girls and he thinks that that's the one, and he kidnaps her. And it's really cool. I was looking for where I had it, but oh yeah, here it is. But this recently came out on 4K. Which, by the way, all of your movies are coming out on 4K. Unfortunately,
I saw next month Ninja movies, and later the American Ninja movies. Yeah,
I think it's going to be a box set of Enter the Ninja,
that's what I saw.
Revenge, and I just I thought that I owned Ninja 3 and I didn't. So just the other day, I was like, you know what? I'm talking to Sam. I'm going to go ahead, and so I bought Avenging Force on Blu-ray. I got Revenge of the Ninja, but it's on DVD. I need to get it on Blu-ray, but now I should. My buddy goes, you
It will
spent
come
all
out
that,
in
you
better
could have,
quality.
you should have waited for 4K. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Next
but
month, I think.
but yeah, this movie didn't come out. You know, it just kind of came and went. And then they recently found a cop, made a 4K because maybe it was out on video on the one that Quentin owns on 35 millimeter, but you know, never was, you know.
So you know, I'm still waiting for the DVD or Blu-ray of the two movies that I directed with David Bradley, Cyber Cop and Cyber Cop #2.
I saw though. I need to watch all of your later
Those
stuff
are still,
after.
we have to find out who holds the rights, and they kind of disappeared as well. We know who made the movie, the company, but they don't have the rights anymore.
Oh, wow.
New Image Millennium produced the movie, but they search, and the rights don't belong to them anymore.
Wow. Yeah, those are the things where you go, well, now I don't have money to pay for a lawyer to go do, you know, like, you know, but yeah, it's, but yeah,
You
if
know,
you
it was sold to Trimark, and Trimark took over Lionsgate. Maybe it's
that's
in the
right,
library
yeah.
of Lionsgate. I didn't do enough of research.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, if so, let me know. And if you ever want to come back on, let me know.
Absolutely.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Where can people find you and your book to buy your book and all that?
Everything is easy. I have Facebook, Sam FIrstenberg, YouTube channel, Sam FIrstenberg, with a lot of material, Instagram, a lot of material. And the book, I don't control the book. It was written about me, but Marco Sidelman, but this is Amazon, you know.
Yeah.
Stories from the trenches.
Yeah.
The story of Sam, the movies of Sam FIrstenberg, something like this.
Yeah.
It says here, stories from the trenches, adventures in making high-octane Hollywood movies with Canon veteran Sam FIrstenberg. Ooh.
Awesome. Yeah.
And you have Michael Dudikoff, and
yeah.
on the cover, Lucinda Dickey, Shokasugi, Steve James.
Yeah. That's one where you want to get
David Bradley.
Get a big poster of that and put up on my wall.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And then I was going to ask kind of off mic, but I'll ask you now. So do you have dual citizenship, or you know?
I do.
And do you go back?
I grew up as a child, and until 22 in Israel. I am from Jerusalem, from the holy city of Jerusalem. And at 22, I moved here. I went to film school, Loyola Marymount here in Los Angeles. Undergraduate, graduate.
Yeah.
And I spent most of my life here because of the movies. But yeah, you know, there are many countries which you can have dual citizenship. So you can have U.S. and Israeli.
Some people though are like, I don't want to pay taxes in both places or whatever.
No. But, so that's it's good if you have citizenship of two countries who they have a kind of agreement that you pay income tax only in one country.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, I think if you're in Switzerland, you have to choose. There are some countries, and there are some countries that you have to pay income tax both countries.
Yeah,
but I think many countries there are agreements. There are mutual agreements that you either pay here or you pay here. In the case of the American rules, if an American moves to another country, he or she still have to pay American income.
Yeah, I think my sister-in-law, she lives in Canada, and I think she has to pay both.
Oh, at least she has to file. It doesn't mean that she has to pay twice.
Yeah, very true.
But she must file and then pay only one country.
But well, thank you, Sam, for being on the show. Can I call you Sam? I hope, Mr.
Absolutely, that's my name.
All right. well, that's well, that like, does anybody call you by your like is it Shmulik?
Shmulik. Sam, Samuel is all
or
one
has
name.
now
it's been biblical name.
Yeah. Okay.
In the Bible, in Hebrew, Shmuel.
Oh, okay.
English, Samuel. It's the same name.
Yeah.
Sam, because it's short. Shmulik is the diminutive of Shmuel.
Right.
So it's like a little boy. So I was always a little boy.
Yeah, it's like
even now that I'm 75, I'm still a little boy.
Yeah. With my dad, I was always Philip and he was Phil, and now I'm an adult and I'm still Philip because I just feel weird having Phil. Hey, Phil, my name's Phil.
So in Hebrew, people know me by the name Shmulik. which is actually Shmuel or Samuel. It's the same name.
Yeah.
All the same name.
Well, thank you for being on, and everybody, thank you for joining us. We hope you had fun and maybe learned something about a movie that may have had a part in making Tarantino. Goodbye.